Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hey, my golf friend. Welcome back to Above Par. I'm so glad that you're here. So this is going to be the first part of a 3-part series. I'm going to talk about golf emotions. So hang in there with me. If you're like, nope, I'm not talking about emotions. If you're a person who's like, no, I don't want to think about them. I don't want to talk about them. I'm afraid of them. This is going to be so valuable for you. So today I want to talk about just getting our head around the emotions that happen on the golf course. So often people think that they should stay very even keel on the golf course, that they shouldn't experience any emotion while they're out there playing. Maybe that there's something actually wrong when they're having all these emotions. We go through and we think some emotions are acceptable and some emotions aren't acceptable. So I want to go through and explain it from my angle, my little brain that makes visuals and creates these pictures in my head, and maybe I can share that picture with you. So we're taught how to deal with emotions as a child from the people in our lives. I grew up with an Archie Bunker kind of dad. So you can imagine what that emotional environment was like. There were definitely certain emotions was don't cry, don't be upset, get over it, toughen up, especially if it came to sports. And usually the people in our lives who are telling those things, the problem is that they're uncomfortable seeing that emotion. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with someone being upset or someone crying or someone being really mad. So they encourage us to deny our emotions, which is the first thing that I want to address. We're often taught to deny certain emotions, that they don't exist or that we shouldn't have them or experience them. The second thing that happens is we judge emotions. We categorize them as being good or bad. Like, yep, that one's okay. That one, not so good. You shouldn't have that emotion, right? You shouldn't be experiencing that or having that feeling. We do this with other people. And we do this with ourselves. We judge the emotions that we find to be acceptable and not acceptable. And then the third thing that we do is we end up shrinking into a little category of emotions from that. We deny them, we judge them, and then we make this little acceptable box. We shrink. We shrink our emotional experience. We shrink our experience in life so that we can only live within the confines of those emotions. We'll only get on a little bit of side of on the negative spectrum of emotions. And then as a result of that, we're only going to be able to have the contrast of that on the other side. So we live in this little box on either side of neutral. We're only willing to go so far to the one side. And as a result, we only get to go so far to the other side. So we shrink our life. We shrink our emotional experience. We shrink our capacity to go out and really fully live the way that we're designed to live as a human. So I want to create a visual for you because I love visuals. Once I see a picture, it's like I can't forget it. So I always try and create pictures in my head. So I want you to imagine that every emotion that you could possibly have is a balloon. And when you're born, you get these balloons. They come with you on a little chain behind you, all these different balloons. And what happens when we experience an emotion, we have a thought in our head, it creates these little neurochemicals that go into our body, create this energy, and it fills up the balloon. Now, that energy doesn't go anywhere until we allow it to go somewhere. So what happens is if we end up learning that we don't want to fill up the vulnerability balloon, right? That's behind us. We don't want that balloon. We don't want it to exist. We want to pretend and deny that it's there, and we judge it. We think it's bad. But what happens when we have some thoughts that produce that feeling of vulnerability, it creates an emotion in our body. It fills up this balloon. We cannot deny it. But what we end up doing is we just shove it to the side. We try and put it in a closet and pretend it's not there. We might stick it underneath our shirt so that we can pretend that we're not experiencing it. But it doesn't go anywhere until we address it. So we keep hiding it and denying it. All it does is it keeps growing. It just hangs out until finally it pops up. And that could be something like you denying that you're annoyed or frustrated, and you keep denying it and not paying attention to it and shoving it over in the corner and sticking it underneath your shirt, right? You got all this big balloon growing, and then suddenly it pops with an explosion of anger. It might happen on the golf course. It might happen in road rage. It might happen you snapping at somebody, but it's going to get released eventually, or you're really going to just eat away at yourself from the inside, right? It can show itself up in health issues. It can show itself up in just that feeling of stuckness and not focused and not present, not feeling like we have any traction, not a clarity and a lightness to us because we're hanging out with all these balloons that we've filled and we haven't addressed, right? So we have all these balloons and each emotion, let's say, is a different color. And you're picking the ones, I don't want that one, and I don't want that one, and I don't want that one, right? You're picking these different colored balloons that you don't want to have because they're different emotions. I'm not willing to experience that. You don't have that luxury. We're born with them. We get them. Right? We can't deny it. You as a human and me as a human, we get the full range of emotions. All that happens is we restrict ourselves and deny them from happening. That resistance in itself is a balloon, right? So we end up filling up this huge balloon of resistance that we carry around. So then what we do is we start eliminating all these balloons and we're like going, these are the balloons that I will deal with. These I can fill up and I can manage. I can stay in this little box. I can deal with a little bit of sadness and a little bit of disappointment. And I'm only going to let myself get a little bit happy and a little bit excited, right? And then we take them and we just categorize them into like black and white, good and bad. Instead of really what they are is all these different colors of emotions. Neither one, any of them are good or bad. They're just emotions that happen because we had a thought. And that thought created energy and filled up this little balloon. And if you don't let the air back out, let that energy back out, it's going to hang out with you. And sometimes they can stay there so long that they fill up and they feel like they're concrete, that you're dragging around behind you. If they don't pop. I see this so often with people when they resist emotions. Like, no, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to be upset. Or there's no crying in baseball kind of thing. There's no crying on the golf course. Crying isn't, by the way, necessarily an emotion from sadness. Crying can come from anger. Crying can come from just a reaction to a strong emotion. When I get really, really mad, I cry. I've had some checkout people who have denied me some things and I start crying. It's just like, I'm just so mad. They're like, oh my gosh. Crying is just a reaction to a strong emotion. It does not mean you're sad. It does not mean you're feeling like a victim or feeling sorry for yourself. But so often we don't want to see people cry. We don't cry. I don't want people to see how disappointed I am. I'm not willing to experience vulnerability, humiliation. Nope, don't do those. That's not happening. Well, if that's the scenario and if that is the case, then what's happening is you're never going to put yourself out there to possibly experience humiliation, vulnerability, whatever that emotion is. It's just a balloon that was attached to you as a baby coming out. You can't deny it. All you can do is shrink your world enough that you'll never have to experience it. So what does this look like when we go on the golf course? Now you have all these balloons that could possibly get blown up because of a thought that you have. And then if you deny them, if you try not to admit that they're there, you're going to stick it underneath your golf shirt. You're going to stick one in your pant leg and your skirt, and you're going to carry it on your back and it's going to weigh you down. Right. So what happens, we go on the golf course and we think that, well, it's a problem that I have this emotion or that I am feeling this way. I shouldn't feel this way on the golf course. I shouldn't have those thoughts and feel this way. So we judge ourselves. We shame ourselves. We miss a short putt and we're really ticked off and we try to deny it. Nope, I'm not mad. All right. Forget it. Let's move on. Or we hang on to it. We just grab that balloon and we're like, yep, I got this angry balloon with me and it's going to stay here for 3 holes. Maybe you think anger is useful, or maybe think you're just stuck with it. Like you don't know what to do with it. Like, how do I let the air out of it? I don't know. I'm stuck until it slowly escapes from me, till all that air slowly leaks out. Then I can let it go. We can do that with positive emotions too. Like sometimes people are very uncomfortable being happy and excited. Like, oop, there's that excited balloon all blown up. Nope, let the air out of that one quickly. Let's get back down to being slightly miserable. We can do that too. So while I always talk about having that feeling of being calm, certain, and confident, those are balloons. Those are emotional balloons that we want to fill up as much as we can and carry with us throughout the round. Sometimes we're going to do things that deflate some of those balloons, that energy, that emotion. Our confidence is flat, not blown up. Sometimes pressure can fill and take over the calm balloon, or anger takes over that, or doubt takes over the certainty balloon. because you can't have both balloons at the same time. You can't have certainty filled up and full of emotion, full of vibrations in you. You can't have certainty and doubt at the same time. So if doubt comes in, then certainty gets deflated. It's very hard to have pressure and be calm at the same time, or stress and be calm at the same time. So I encourage people to play golf from a sense of calm, certain, or confident, because that vibration, when it's in your body, allows you to swing freely and think clearly. When you're carrying around the energy that is created to fill up a pressure balloon, emotional balloon, we don't think clearly and our body gets tighter. So the job is not to deny that those emotions were created by thoughts that you had. It's to let the air out of them and refill the other balloons. It's not a problem that you experience that emotion, any emotion. It's just energy in a balloon and you're going to let it out. And then you're going to refill the balloon that you want that is effective and useful for you on the golf course. Disappointment might get filled up in 10 times and around. Not a problem. Just let the air out of it and refill the calm one and the certain one and the confident one. Anger is going to get filled. It might not fill a lot, get a little filled in and out all day long. Frustration, annoyance, stress, pressure. We can't sit there and say, oh, this is a problem. What am I going to do? Like the air will never come out of that balloon. Well, if you're not in the habit of letting the air out of those balloons, if you guys are staying with me with my analogy, it's very clear in my head. Right? If you're not in the habit of letting your emotions go, letting the air out of those balloons, if you're one who hangs on to it, right? You got that little anger balloon. It's going to hang out with you for 3 days because until you just slightly loosen your grip on it and let the air out, you're at the effect of it. That's not the case. You're in control. You fill up the balloons. You let the air out of the balloons. You decide by what you decide to think. My point in sharing this with you is I want you to open yourself up to embracing all the emotions that came with you when you were born. Notice the ones that you've denied yourself or that you judge as being good or bad. Because the better you get at opening yourself up to all the possibilities of different emotions that you can have on and off the golf course, the less that we fear them, the more that we can embrace them, the fuller your life will be and the better your golf game will be. You ever tried to swallow anger on the golf course? Your whole jaw gets tight, right? Your neck gets tight. Nope. You're going to deny yourself being angry. Just be angry. Let the emotion out. It doesn't mean you have to throw a club. It doesn't mean you have to scream out loud. It's just a vibration. Just let the air out of it. I'm going to tell you that's not necessarily a simple thing to do, especially if you've been denying your emotions for a long time or not paying attention, or you have no idea how to let emotion go through you instead of reacting to it. But it's a skill that's worth practicing. I encourage you to start with one emotion that shows up for you on the golf course and just notice it, acknowledge it, do not deny it, do not judge it, and just let the air out of it. Let it just pass through. And then have some skills and some ways of filling back up those balloons that serve you, that calm, that certain, that confidence. Because we get them all. And the more that you resist and ignore or deny yourself the negative emotions and they're there, you're just creating a lot more resistance in yourself and you're shrinking your world to stay within what you're comfortable with. And that also means on the golf course, you're only going to be able to take your game so far. All right, my friends, I hope that was helpful. If you need any help with this is what I do. I help people manage their emotions, their thoughts and emotions around the game of golf so that they can take all their talent out there. And I'm happy to help you too. All right, next week, we're going to talk about the work. What is the work in going through all these emotions? What's the ultimate goal and how you actually should feel on the golf course? And I have another visual for you to help you really get your head around that. So make sure you tune in next week. All right, have a beautiful week and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.